Okie dokie, what I'm doing now is making up a tailplane support bracket, which isn't in the kit, but it will support the tailplane, surprisingly. And it better be right. Peg up on here. So what I'm going to do now is to just tweak the angles, and then I can drill some holes through. I've got a couple of bolts, quite nice ones. Okay, I'm going to finish bending this around and then I'll come back to you. I'll probably drill the holes in the end as well. That's the rear strut in place, so that's stiffened the tailplane up really well, as one now. So pretty scale looking strut there, so I'm happy with that. I thought I'd have a little play with the elevator servo installation. What I've got so far is I've put just sat the two elevator servos in position. In fact, what I'm doing, I'm changing things around. Instead of rudder elevator servo, I'm going to use both servos for elevators, one on each side. These servos, I took one apart. They are fully metal geared all the way down, so they're quite nice little servos, but I don't want to trust. They're big elevators and seem to be small servos, so I'm going to put one elevator per servo. So the elevators are designed to be joined. So I've just filled in the slot that would accommodate the wire joiner. So now I can put on my horns, elevator horns. The kit supplies 2 carbon tubes for the elevator linkage to run in. Now the elevator wire they give us is stainless steel, which can't be soldered. I'm going to use my own piano wire, got there in the end. Something else I've done, I've turned the servos upside down, rudder and elevator servo. Let's see if you can see this. So I've turned the rudder and elevator servo upside down. They are designed to go in the other way up, which is why there's a little slot in the back here to support the end of the control run. But once the pilot's in, you can't get to it. So I've turned them upside down. Seems very sensible. And so I'm going to put a crossbar up here for the control run to. It's also better if I cross them as well. It makes it more of a straight run, which I think they tell you to do in the kit anyway. So I need a horn on here. Just put that one on. I've got to drill the holes for the servo yet. I've just centered the servos, so I know they're good. So I need to put a crossbar in here to support this. Do I need one halfway down? Do you know, it can't hurt, can it? So I'm going to cut a couple of bits of balsa or ply or something and glue in there. And, excuse me, bead balsa I expect. And we can glue those in, and I'll drill the holes for the servos. Okay, what have I done? So I've glued in the support rails for the tubes. I've drilled the holes and fitted my control horns. And there they are working. I'll glue that in the middle there, glue it at each end, it won't move then. So that's basically it. I did see a video online, I think it was something like a half size DR1. They had the elevators running as elevators, but also as elevons on the back. I noticed they were working in opposite directions, which would be a fun experiment to try. Yeah, I'll glue the outers in and think about putting some filler pieces either side to stop them coming sideways. And that will be those fitted. Then I can look at the rudder servo. The rudder servo I'm going to do closed loop. I've got a great big servo here to do it. Right then guys, what I've done is I've just fitted the horn on the rudder, not glued but fitted, and I've run up a couple of pieces of wire to simulate where the closed loop system is going to go, because I'm fitting a closed loop rudder. And what I've done, I've made this natty little device, I suppose you'd call it. This connects to the servo, and these two goes to the closed wires, so that will go like that. So that will sit, I'll epoxy it somewhere there, and I've made up a little seats for the servo. These pieces are from the kit. Not for this purpose, I repurposed them, so that'll sit there somewhere, and then that will connect up to there like that, and then the receiver and what have you will go in the front. Well, that's all there is actually. Right, I'm going to epoxy this in now. I think I'm just going to have to drop it down there like that. No, center on there like that and like that. Oh well, we'll let that set off and see what it looks like in a minute. I'm happy with that. Okay, welcome back. If you're enjoying the video so far, give us a thumbs up and think about subscribing, eh? Oh. Okay, what I've done, I've altered this around a little bit. I've moved the elevator servos back an extra, what, let's have a look, centimetre? Yeah, about a centimetre, 10 mil. Just because the push rod is going to be touching the end of the outer here. At the same time, I've put 2 bits of 1/8 there and 1 bit of 1/8 there to give me an angle, so as it's more correctly lined up with the push rod itself. Right guys, this is an exciting moment. The exhaust port, I think there's an exhaust port each side. If it's not an exhaust port, I'm not sure what it is, but basically it's a hole in the side. I've had to sort of cheat the position because it's not scaled because the nose is too long, but I'm going to put it there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this tube as the actual exhaust, but this tube sits inside of a round hole. It doesn't just go straight in. So what I'm going to do, I've got this tube here, which I'm going to glue in flush, and then I'll glue that one inside there, so it'll come out of a nice clean tight hole. That's a sort of general idea. So I'm going to make a noise now. This is what I've made. So I've cut one to length. I've put a piece of balsa on the back to give me something to stick the inner pipe to, and this rough edge will have to be cut off now, so that's going to fit up inside there, something like that. Got a flat edge there that sits on that lip there, so I'm going to glue that in, and then I'm going to get the Dremel on that, get it nice and flat, finish it off with sandpaper, and then I shall be ready to cover that. And then once it's covered, then I can cut this tube and fit it inside. That would be my exhaust coming out through what appears to be a hole in the bodywork. So, see you in a minute. Right, I'm sanding the freshly glued in exhaust port. Put masking tape around so as to protect the balsa wood when I get down to that level. So a bit that side, a bit this side. Okay, that's one done. Just wondering what other scale details I can put in, that I need to put in before I can start covering. Everything's sanded and smooth. I could do something. Got to take the tailplane back off, of course. Happy with the rudder. I've got to fill in those slots in the elevators. I think apart from that, everything is just about ready for covering, I think. Starting with the bottom of the aeroplane, bottom of the fuselage. What about these outers will need to be glued in because I won't be able to get to this centre part. Yeah, I'll work on that, get those glued in, and unless I can think of something else, dismantle the tail end and start covering. Thought I'd have a go at, before I can cover the wings, I need to make fixings for the wingtip skids. So I bought a length of brass from my local hobby shop, which comes from Illinois. Okay, I've marked it up what I think. So first of all, I'm going to cut a piece and bend it around. I need two fittings, one to go on the end to support it, and then another one a little way down. So until they're made and blocks put in the wingtips, I can't cover it. So this is quite an important thing I have to do. So I'm just going to try cutting it out and see what happens. Actually, I'd forgotten how hard brass was. Done a lot of work with copper, which is very, very soft compared. I think it was a good idea putting the creases in it. Right, let's just offer it up that way. So I'll go in there like that. Well, that's not too bad for first attempt. That will go into a block up here somewhere. It's got to hang about at an angle like that. But if that's very low, if that's all the way into there, I cut it over length just in case I wanted to, say maybe about there. And then there another one right there. But this one's quite fancy. I don't know if I can replicate it. I've seen ones that comes out the bottom of the wing and it comes down. There's the it comes down, around and up, and down, and round and up, and then the skid is that bit there. So I mean, that looks fantastic. All I need is a block of wood in there with a, what was it, 1 mil, less than 1 mil gap between. That'll just slot straight down in and glue in. Yeah, so that's the front one. That's the easy one, as I'd like to call it. So I'm going to give that some thought. I'm happy with that. I'm quite pleased actually, so that's nice and looks good in brass. I'll have a look at the next one and come back to you when I've decided what I'm doing. It's fun, isn't it? Isn't it fun? It's great fun. So here's a funny little shape, looks like a little man, but I think that is the shape I need for from my sketch, from my original sketch, then a rough idea and then measured out, and that's what it looks like. So I'm going to photocopy that and stick 2 of those onto my bit of brass for cutting out. I thought this would be worth recording, guys. It's going quite well. I'll just do this next bit for your amusement. Clean it up with a file, of course, but it gets a bit hot as well. coming out quite nice. I think this could be quite a nice little fitting actually. Although I think scale wise it might need to have been a little bit smaller, but it's going to work. Now this bit's got the tab that bends back over the top, so perhaps I ought to cut that bit first. So I'm going to file it a little bit now. It's great. Right, put that there. A bit of filing. Single file please, single file. I've got a choice of files here. I have a feeling I didn't put the camera on there. Okay, so what have I got? I've bent this shape up, which looks rather stylish, and that one will go on the front like that, and then that will mount in the wingtip up here like that at an angle about there. So all I've got to do now is fix up some blocks of wood on the inside. I'll start with the front one and then I'll work on the back one. I think that passes muster, as they say, as I say anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think? You happy with that? Goes about there, like that. Good. Okay, I'll be back in a minute as soon as I've got something glued in. So there we are. Happy with that. The one wingtip skid is obviously upside down. Looking quite smart. Let's turn it the right way up. There we go. And when that's all covered, I can alter the angle of it slightly before I glue it in, but that's not far off. Maybe a little bit less. A couple of blocks on the inside, it all just pushes in. I think actually they might be a little bit too big, the rear bracket, but it's the same. I've been thinking, how am I going to make it for weeks actually, and in the end I just decided that the only way to do it was same as full size, which is pretty much it. Quite pretty really, quite like it. I might leave it in brass, they look quite smart. So that completes part 8 then, guys. Little bit of a bit service episode. Got the motor in, the servos in, aileron servos still to do, but wingtip skid is in. I'll do the other one tomorrow. Quite pleased with the way it's turned out. So steady progress, and we'll see you in part 9, which will be linked just here. Well, I'll put the playlist here and you can look for the part you want. Part 9 will be there as and when it's been recorded, which isn't yet. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Oh, hit the little thumbs up button down below. Leave us a comment. It's always welcome. And if you want to hit the subscribe button, that would be nice too. See you then. Cheers, guys. Cheers. 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 Lots of cheers.